So when Adidas released the Predator 18 Plus, the most liked comment on my review was this. This is not a Predator to me. This is an ACE 2018. And that is a fair comment. And with both boots being laceless and made out of knit and having sock colors, well, I can kind of see why you'd feel that way. So today I'm gonna try and discuss if and why the Predator is or isn't an ACE. And we're also gonna hear from some of the people working on the Predator from Adidas. So first things first, yes, the Predator 18 Plus looks like it could easily have been the ACE 18 Plus instead, because it does share a lot of the same DNA as the ACE line. They both have laceless uppers, they're both made out of a knit construction, they have high sock colors, they have focus on control, and also a lot of the ACE players will jump into the Predator. But it also kind of makes sense in the big picture, because Predator needed a break, and it paved the way for Adidas to be wild and crazy and experimental with the ACE, something they wouldn't have been able to do on the Predator. Now, I spoke to Sam Handy from Adidas about it, and he explained it pretty well. Roll it.
Kind of in the back end, we'd always been thinking about how do we bring back the best franchise in the world, right? The most iconic boot in the sporting goods industry, the Predator. And we didn't have the ingredients. And at the beginning of the creation process for the 18 ACE, we looked at the ingredients that we had and realized that we had what we needed to build a Predator for 2018 that could really express the power and the passion and the uniqueness of what a Predator should stand for.
So the ACE kind of gave Adidas a platform to innovate without everyone being up in arms. Oh my God, what have you imbeciles done to my beloved Pred, you insensitive monsters? You know, it kind of makes sense because the Predator needed a break, it needed a reboot because it had kind of been going in circles for too long without really moving forward. And so Adidas decided to let it take a nap before they really had the tech to take the Predator to the next level. And it seems that now they felt they did. So why use it on a relatively young silo such as the ACE instead of using it on their most iconic silo they've ever had? That's right, it doesn't make any sense. So the new tech, well, it had to go on the Predator. Moving on to the tech side of things, it actually also gets interesting because while the Predator does indeed have the same silhouette as that on the ACE, tech-wise, it's nowhere close to the boot that's now sleeping with the fishes. Because gone is the internal compression fit tongue. The sock collar itself is now much tighter and frankly much better. The lockdown in the heel is improved too and keeps your foot much better in place. And then we have the utterly, insanely soft toe box on the Predator. But did the Predator evolve from the base that Adidas had with the ACE? I would probably say yes because, you know, laceless and all. But I also spoke to Sam Handy about this matter, and this is what he said.
It was built from the ground up with Predator completely in mind, but springboarded from everything that we've learned from ACE. So every single bit of innovation that the brand had at that point has been combined with the DNA of Predator that we understand to build something truly new and truly disruptive. It doesn't have hard angled bladed studs because the best players in the world don't want those. Otherwise, we would have put them in. And I think there was a point in 1994 when that was entirely credible and correct to do. I think we've built a product for now, for the best players in the world, that is a Pred.
But I also talked to Dean Lokes, who's the Vice President of Football at Adidas, and he also talked me through some of the big changes in the tech between the ACE and the Predator.
Whilst there's some similarity to some past shoes we've done, the thing is about infusing innovation and lifestyle into one product. And that's, you know, the thinness of the films on this is revolutionary from where we've been. You know, there's about a 60% reduction in the thickness of the film on top of the knit, which will give the consumer ball to foot control like never before.
So okay, in terms of tech, the new Predator might both be a Predator, but also have parts of the ACE inside its DNA. But there's one thing on the boot that kind of makes me feel like it's not really a Predator, nor is it an ACE, and that's the 3D knitted ridges. Now, I actually like them. It gives a pretty decent texture on the ball, and I also think that it's a nice nod back in time to the aggressive fins that we saw on the very first Predator. But I also think that in order to make the new Predator feel more like you normally would say a Predator should feel, they could have made it with a more grippy coating to give you that grippy Predator-ish sensation. But hey, then again, Rome wasn't built in a day. But that kind of leads me back to the first comment. This is not a Predator to me. But why is it that people say that? Well, speaking for myself, Predator will always initially be associated with a leather upper, a tongue, and rubber elements. But on the other hand, the core of the Predator was always to give you more swerve on the ball, but also to be innovative and progressive compared to what other tech was out there at the time it was created. And you can say that in some sense, the Predator 18 Plus is doing just that. In another sense, well, maybe it isn't as aggressive as the first Predator was intended to be. Maybe it's just all about the market. There are a lot of questions. Well, luckily, Sam Handy has the answers. Take it away.
The easiest thing we could have done, leather 4-foot rubber control zones, fold over tongue, done. And I think we would have made lots of people happy, but we wouldn't have built the right product for today's player. You see a red thread that connects the current shoe to the shoe from the past, but that it looks like something that you've never seen before. Because all of the best Predators look fairly disconnected from the one before. Like from precision to accelerator.
It's a big jump.
It's a big jump. But
Precision
they both,
to mania.
Exactly. But they all look like Pred. And I think this looks like Pred, but it's different and it has different ingredients as they all did before it. And I think something that's really important for Predator collectors to remember is that every Predator was different. Every Predator was an evolution, and every time that Adidas launched a Predator, it was the most high-technology football boot that had ever been built. So the reason that this is a real Predator, I think, is highly credible that it isn't leather and it doesn't have a fold-over tongue, because that isn't today's innovation. It's an innovation platform for everything that Adidas has, and that's what Predator always was.
Now, Adidas do make a pretty good case, but I still see it this way. Yes, once again, the Predator 18 Plus could just as easily have been called ACE 18 Plus, and I don't think that many people would have batted an eyelid. And personally, I see it this way, that the ACE was kind of a means or a way for Adidas to innovate and be outrageous and be bold and progressive without the old Predator guard losing their mind. Just imagine if Adidas had actually made the first laceless boot a Predator. It would have been outrage, it would have been carnage, it would have been ugly. But this way, by introducing laceless and kind of the future with the ACE, it gave people some time to get used to the fact that socks and laceless technology is the future of Adidas football. And now apparently they felt it was time to really bring the Predator back into the fold. So you might say that to some people, the Predator is an ACE, but to me, the ACE was also always a bit of a Predator. In spirit at least, what Adidas wanted the Predator to be sometime in the future. Was this a Predator in disguise? Well, I don't know, but at least now it's back. And it might not be anything close to the OG Predators, at least it's a very modern interpretation of them, but I still see it as like a natural progression from the ACE, simply because Adidas needed something more bold and aggressive compared to the more clean, fashion-oriented look of the ACE. But what does Adidas have to say to that? Dean, over to you.
I think Predator always had an attitude, and I think when you look at football boots generally today, they've become incredibly beautiful. And one of the things that we talked about in terms of differentiating our franchises, one of them should feel badass. One of them should feel more aggressive, more edgy, more chunky, tooth-like. And in terms of this shoe, we were very, believing that both on and off pitch, one of them should just have a bit more like, growl to it.
In the end, people might say that Adidas have run out of ideas, and honestly, who knows? Maybe they have. I just really like the fact that they don't just try to play it safe and slap some rubber elements on a leather ACE and say that's the new Predator, but instead, they really try to take the Predator forward into the direction that they think is the right one. And perhaps, yes, they could have done even more to get it to feel closer to the perception that people have of what a Predator should feel like. But who am I to judge? I think there are fair arguments both for and against the Predator being an ACE. And in the end, who really cares as long as this is a good football boot That's really all that matters. But what do you guys think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Leave me a comment in the comment section right down below. And while you're at it, don't forget to check out my review of the Predator 18 Plus by clicking the video right down here. Make sure you subscribe by clicking the green bubble over my head. Leave me a thumbs up if you had a good time, and spread the word by sharing this video with your friends. And with that said, I'm signing off. Cheerio.